Well, we're just sitting here talking about, crap, now we got a lot of work to do, and how our lives, in some ways, are going to change again. As I said the other day, I was on stage at the FreedomWorks event in Ohio, and I was feeling very optimistic. And I said that this isn't the end. This is the end of the beginning. We're now in the second phase of this thing, and we've gotten smarter. Unfortunately, I think our president has become much more powerful, and another 4 years at this pace is breathtaking for our allies, for our freedoms, for our Constitution, for our company. And whatever that company is, if you're in, nobody's going to be talking about repealing Obamacare. For our health, it's remarkable. Anybody have any thoughts of where we start, where we go from here?
Can I throw something out, Glenn?
Yeah.
The difference between what we were doing yesterday and what we're doing tomorrow should be nothing. I mean, we should be doing what we've been doing because it was the right thing to do all the way along. We didn't do what we did because of the outcome. We did what we did because it's the right thing to do.
And I think this is what dawned on me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I realized, my wife and I had a talk the night before, and I mean, we haven't really seen each other. I mean, she sat here on the set tonight because I haven't seen her in 3 or 4 weeks. And we were just talking last night in bed, and we were both falling asleep, and I said, you know what, honey, Mitt Romney gets in, we'll be able to relax for a little while. So it's not that we have to change anything, it's just that, crap, I got to go for another tour. And that's, it's just, these are the times.
We got a lame duck session coming up, starting probably tomorrow. We got the first 100 days.
So that's
all starting
Those
tomorrow.
Bush tax cuts are coming in. No one's going to repeal Obamacare. I mean, we have.
Yeah, and I can tell you this, the market is going to sell off just because people are going to lock in gains to get this tax rate.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah,
by the mid-December, there's going to be just a huge...
Well, today they were saying, because they thought Romney, looked like the market was predicting a Romney win.
Right.
And they said money, they could tell that money was flowing in from Europe and coming in, which is what we predicted would happen if he would win. I've been talking, you're going to see money coming in looking for a safe America. That money is going away, and you're exactly right, they will sell.
Yeah.
I'll say 2014, if you look at that list, there's a whole lot of red states up there. They're going to have Senate races, and those are Senate races that are currently held by Democrats. There's opportunities there. That's starting up 2016. One thing we're talking about a little bit in the break. I mean, let's be honest, Mitt Romney is far from the perfect candidate. A lot of these folks that were part of that initial Tea Party class of getting elected who understand the grassroots, understand you have to get out front, very passionate on issues. Those folks are going to be ready to go. The bench is stacked. There's a lot of silver linings.
I will tell you that Romney. I don't think I can find myself.
I don't want to throw him under the bus.
I don't want to throw him under the bus.
While he's not the perfect candidate, I came to believe he was a pretty good one.
I mean, he wasn't. I didn't agree with him on policies per se, and that's where he wasn't perfect. But he was really, truly a man of honor. I haven't seen a man run like that since maybe Ronald Reagan. He was a man of honor.
Yeah. But if I could just break in, you speaking in the past tense seems to be somewhat appropriate because we can now, at The Blaze, in partnership with the Associated Press, call the race for President Obama. President Barack Obama has been reelected. He's crossed the threshold of 270 electoral votes.
What else did you add?
Colorado. They added Colorado, that's right, is in blue there, and it's not on our map yet. You can see Iowa as well. Colorado and Iowa are now blue, joining New Hampshire and Ohio and Pennsylvania, Minnesota. I just asked this table, Glenn, can you think of one contested state that we said Mitt Romney needed to win, that he did?
It's amazing. The polls were exactly right.
Right, yeah.
Maybe Virginia.
Actually, there is one interesting difference in Ohio right now. The difference between the two candidates is at 1,500 votes.
Why did they call it? Something's not right there.
Glenn, if I could, on the as far as the vote coming in from Ohio, one of the big reasons they're calling it is because almost all the vote that is remaining is Cleveland. Only half of the Cleveland has reported. Almost everything else is reported in Ohio. So that vote is going 2-to-1 to Barack Obama, and that's why they're calling it.
Okay.
There are even suggestions. There are suggestions that hadn't been called yet, but that Barack Obama looks like he might win Florida as well. That's not called, but Barack Obama might win Florida as well. So I put the question back to you one more time. Can you think of one place where conservatism, not just Mitt Romney, won tonight where it needed to?
Well, I don't think he's. Yeah, the initiatives.
Initiatives were the first indicator this was not going right, because the initiatives were voted on in a liberal direction. And state after state after state that should have been conservative passed very liberal initiatives at state level.
So would you say, though, that, would you say in the end that Rick Santorum and Bachmann were right? That he wasn't a conservative or a small, constitutionally principled kind of,
The Tea
candidate.
Party guys in Ohio, that network passed an anti-Obamacare referendum. They passed an amendment. This is just a couple years ago. And you never really heard about Obamacare from Mitt Romney in Ohio. I mean, that wasn't his issue there. And I think a lot of it came back from Massachusetts. I mean, I don't want to pile on the guy who just lost, but when I look at the next crop that's coming up, these are folks who won in elections where they had very definitive positions on a lot of these key issues, and I think that's good for the long term.
Boy, it's quite amazing.
And I think it wouldn't have made a whole lot of difference tonight who the candidate was, because you really, who the candidate was did not drive these initiatives at state level. These initiatives were all independent. Sure. Right. They were on taxing issues. They were on moral issues. They were on religious issues. We got killed at the state level. So I don't think it would have mattered who the presidential candidate was. The way the vote went was in a liberal direction.
This is really something that we're going to have to chew on for a few weeks to really understand, because there is some really shocking things coming out of tonight.
Well, you look even at marijuana. I mean, to vote for recreational use of marijuana for any reason, just for fun, winning by 2-to-1 margin in states like Colorado.
But you know what? I look at Colorado as that's that Western kind of mentality where, you can talk me into marijuana because it's like, hey, get off my land. Get off my land. There's enough libertarian in me that says, get off my land. I want to grow something on my land. I'm growing something on my land.
What's this growing right here, by the way, Glenn?
It's grass.
It's grass.
It's grass, man. What?
But you see, Colorado also voted to whack corporations. They also voted to whack business tonight.
See, and that doesn't make sense.
That's the same vote. Massachusetts and Colorado voted the same tonight.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense, because you can't go the Colorado libertarian who says, hey, freedom to the max, and then punish people, whack business.
Exactly.
Can't do that.
What do you think about Paul Ryan as a vice presidential candidate? Clearly, he certainly didn't help, right? Or would Romney have lost by more?
Sometimes I wonder if he was kept under wraps too much.
I don't
fired the base up.
It wasn't him that wasn't kept. Was keeping on the wraps. It was the media.
Yeah.
The problem
he had
with
good crowds. He had high energy.
Look at what happened, but look at the way the media treated these guys. Mm-hmm. If you can't get your message out, you just can't do it. I mean, honestly.
My in-laws quoted every political ad that Obama ran in Ohio to me as a reason they were voting for Obama. They were right off the political ads.
Now,
didn't get information
that's
from anywhere else.
Because we have a nation of people that don't think for themselves.
That's right.
They buy the sound bites. They sit mindlessly and read People magazine and watch some Oprah or The View, and they don't think for themselves, so they buy the sound bites, and it's been very effective.
But I go back to when President Obama can stand up in front of thousands of people and say, I am for free markets, and the place doesn't laugh. That says it all.
But see,
he can say whatever he wants.
This is where we were talking earlier. This is an education problem, and it also goes to the fact that in education we shifted from teaching people how to think to teaching them how to learn, and this is why over the last several presidential elections We have seen that roughly 50% of the vote is cast on the basis of 30-second TV commercials. Whatever you tell me, I'm going to believe it. And so if they would take and run a Romney ad where he says, or excuse me, an Obama ad, he says, I'm for free markets, people go, yeah, I believe that, he is.
Right.
And we don't think. We just intake and then we spit it back out.
And Adam said it. He said every one of those Senate candidates ran on a conservative message. Every one of them.
One thing I keep thinking about was in November, back in 1989, I was grounded. I remember, I was thinking about this tonight, in my bedroom on this little black and white TV, and I was watching the Berlin Wall come down. Yeah. So I was 12 years old at the time, but I remembered the threat of the Soviet Union. I remembered that threat of socialism. And we were talking earlier about those 18 to 29-year-olds. The only scary thing that's happened to them internationally was 9/11, and it hasn't come back yet, so it's just hasn't come back yet.
And
all
that's
these other
being
things are
erased.
far away.
It's being erased. You know, I'm convinced that we did our kids a great disservice in thinking we were doing them a service by shielding them from that.
Yeah.
So many of us said, turn the TV off. I don't want my kids to see that. And so a lot of the kids who were of age and can remember it don't, because their family said, don't look at it, don't look at it.
But the other thing, most of the networks
including
ban
mine.
the coverage.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't show the towers going down
Something
anymore.
that's so fundamentally different right now is start thinking about it. Can you imagine if we were borrowing 40% of our budget from the Soviet Union back in 1980?
Yeah.
Like,
It's crazy.
things are different now.
Yeah.
Wait, did Alan West?
Well,
what
I
did
know
Alan
not
West do?
what path others
Alan
may
West was
take.
up with just a couple of percentage points out. He was narrowly winning. Michelle was down to 1 point.
Go ahead, Jen, what were you going to say?
I just, I'm disappointed, but I'm not discouraged.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the hotel tonight. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. Tomorrow,
That's right.
I'm going back to Washington, and I'm going to do exactly what I've been doing. And David, you've just got to keep writing books. And Glenn, you've got to continue to be the Ezekiel 33:6 watchman.
It doesn't end well for those guys. Stop.
You've got to be the watchman. You've
It
got to
never
be the
ends
watchman.
well for them.
We keep doing what we've been doing.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
what we're called to do, and we keep doing what we've been doing, and the outcome is not up to us.
No, it's not. Washington.
We're only accountable for doing what we're called to do, and I intend to go back, put my armor on,
Well,
and
John
get back
Quincy
in
Adams
it.
spent his whole life fighting a losing battle for him. He fought against slavery, but he never quit. And when media asked him why, he said, because duty is ours, results are God's. And if we'll stay on the track of doing the right thing and don't worry about the results, that doesn't alter what we do, we'll be all right.
Here's the thing. We're all going to be doing what we have done, and it's going to get a little harder. And we're going to need to make sure we're not shooting at each other, and we're going to need to link arms and circle the wagons, and work harder than we've ever worked before. I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. One, continue to watch, continue to help us grow, continue to spread the word, support all of those independent voices that will tell you the truth. Continue to do your own homework. Continue to think. Continue to challenge yourself. Continue to challenge your children. Think out of the box. Continue to create and continue to live your life without fear. I would ask that you would also consider joining us on our journey, whether it be with Freedom Works or Wall Builders or with us here at The Blaze. I would ask that you would, if you haven't yet joined us, go to theblaze.com/TV and sign up for a subscription. Every dollar that you subscribe and send to us, as I told one of our partners, Dish, they said, you guys are amazing. I've never seen a startup like you before. And I said, well, you can see, sir, every dollar that we get in, we spend on development. And we have big plans. We're going to have to move, unfortunately, I think a lot faster than we had anticipated, and we are going to need your help. Reach out and reach to a friend. As Mitt Romney said the other day, reach across to that neighbor who you don't think necessarily agrees with you. Find some common ground and start building from the bottom up. We've already built quite an amazing framework so far. It's just going to take us a little longer now.